Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. So for those of you that have ever visited the beautiful city of Sevilla in southern Spain, you might recognize the recipe we're making today, as it truly is one of the most popular tapas dishes there. We're talking Patatas Mozárabes. This dish is basically potatoes that you boil in salted water until they're perfectly cooked through. And then you top them off with what I consider to be one of the best tasting sauces I've ever tasted. Folks, we're talking very easy to make, the simplest ingredients, and the kind of food that's going to fill you with so much Spanish goodness. Alright, let's just dive right into this recipe. I'm going to cut 1 kilogram of potatoes, which is about 2 1/4 pounds, that have already been peeled, washed, and patted dry. Each potato into bite-sized pieces that are 2 centimeters thick, which is about 3/4 of an inch. To make this recipe, important to use potatoes that are a bit more waxy than starchy, as they hold their shape better when they're being boiled. As always, I'm using Yukon Golds, but you can also use new potatoes, Golden Delight, or even red potatoes. Then we'll add the cut potatoes into a stock pot and fill it with some water, just enough to barely cover the potatoes. Then we'll season generously with sea salt and heat it with a high heat. After 15 to 20 minutes, those potatoes should be perfectly cooked through. You know, you can always pierce them with a toothpick, and if it easily goes in there, but with some resistance, they are ready to go. If you overboil the potatoes, they might start to fall apart. At this point, I'm going to remove the stock pot from the heat, drain the potatoes into a colander, and we'll give them a quick rinse under some cold running water. This is going to stop the potatoes from cooking, as well as ensure that the potatoes cool off a lot faster. While the water's draining in the potatoes, let's start making our sauce. I'm going to add in half a cup of mayonnaise into a bowl, which is 120 grams. For this recipe, I'm using low-fat mayonnaise, but you can use whatever mayo you like. You can even use a plant-based one here to make this a vegan recipe. Then we'll finely grate in 1 clove of garlic. As always, if you don't have a grater, you can just finely mince it. Add in 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, which is 5 grams. 1 teaspoon of honey, which is 7 grams. You can substitute this for agave syrup. A generous teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, which is about 8 milliliters. And 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, which is 15 milliliters. As for the spices and herbs, we'll add in 1 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is 2.5 grams. You'll find a link where you can get the Spanish paprika I'm using in this recipe in the description box below. 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, which is about 1 gram. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin, which is 1.5 grams. And half a teaspoon of onion powder, which is about 1.2 grams. Then we'll season with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll whisk it together until we end up with a beautiful creamy sauce. And that's the exact texture you want from your sauce right there. If you see that yours is a little too thick, just add in some water in there or even a little lemon juice to lighten it up. For the final step, let's start assembling our dish. Once the potatoes are cool enough to handle, I'm going to transfer them into a serving dish. And then we'll top them off with the sauce. For the final touches, we'll sprinkle a kiss of hot smoked Spanish paprika over the potatoes. Once again, link where you can get the one I'm using in the description box below. And some fresh parsley. Check it out, Patatas Mozárabes, a beautiful tapas dish from the city of Sevilla. Very easy to make, the simplest ingredients, and all done in about 30 minutes. Let's give them a try and see how they turned out. Once again, folks, Patatas Mozárabes, as a potato lover, this is a dish I cannot wait to try. Here we go. First things first, what a beautiful cook on those potatoes. They just melt in your mouth, but they kept their shape. And then that sauce, like I told you at the beginning, possibly the best sauce not only in Spain, in the world, because it has an explosion of so much flavors. Folks, give this a try. Truly such an exciting dish. Serve it as a tapas appetizer, or even as a side dish. Either way, with that first taste, you're gonna have yourself an instant trip to the beautiful city of Sevilla. Really quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Alan M. Hirschman, Nancy T, Jean, and Maybeth Robles. Again, guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on the bell icon. That way you can get notified every time I release new content and to become a part of the Spain on a Fork family. Till the next time, hasta luego.